So welcome to a new Game Stuff episode. Now I gotta say, this is not the biggest new Game Stuff episode ever, but what's here is really cool and definitely have some stories here as well today. And before I begin, I will ask you guys, what have you picked up in the way of new video games or new systems or old school games, retro games? Let me know down below. I'm always interested to know what you're playing, what you're picking up. It's always fascinating and I always read the comments. Absolutely. So let's get into it. Let's start off. This is an easy one to get into because my entire life has been consumed by one game, and I finished that game and I still can't believe I finished it. Can't believe it. It's unbelievable. Because at the beginning I was like, there's no way I'm getting through it. I had ordered this ages ago. It showed up. The collector's edition of Tears of the Kingdom right here. Man, I could go on and on about this game. I've already done a first thoughts, a final thoughts, but I honestly could talk about the game for at least 4 hours. I could do a 4-hour podcast talking about every single aspect of the game because I'm going to say something about the game. You know how people say to you, what game would you play if you were on a desert island? What game would you take? You can only pick one. I have the answer, and over the years I've never had the answer. I was like, Street Fighter 2 would be good, and I thought of some a lot of open world games. But this is the game that you would take, because as much as I finished the game, I watched clips on YouTube of things that I still have not seen in the game. That's how big it is. A remarkable achievement in video gaming. And I'm almost at the point to say, up there as I think one of the greatest video games ever made by human beings. I know it's a bold statement, but when you get through the game, and I know a lot of you out there are in the beginning of the game, you get frustrated, just do the shrines. Just do the shrines. You can do it. If you do the shrines, they'll pump you up. You'll be able to get through it a little bit easier. But a remarkable experience, and I had to pick up the special edition because it's such an unbelievable special game. I mean, one that will go down in history. And yes, I know, I got Tears obsessed this month, and I had to pick up the Pro Controller here as well because, I mean, people are going to look back on Tears of the Kingdom. They're going to look back and go, I cannot believe what a great game it is. And I have another thing to say. I've said it before, but I don't know how they're going to top it with a future, console release from Nintendo. I don't know how they're going to top Tears of the Kingdom. Are they going to just have better graphics? I mean, the gameplay is on another level. There's so much to it. There's so many levels to the game. And I'm not talking about physical levels you play in, like metaphorical levels within the game of all the things that you can do. It's astronomical. And yeah, for me, I had to pick up the Pro Controller because it's one of those things I'm going to look back on this game in time and go, wow, I can't believe I actually got to play that game and live it. And yes, I even did it. And you know me, I have a no amiibo policy here. I do. I changed that a long time ago. I did pick up Terry Bogard a couple of years ago, but that made sense because I love that character. But I'm like, okay, I got to do this as well. And I had to pick up the amiibo for Tears of the Kingdom. What do you guys think of Tears of the Kingdom? Are you loving the game? Is it frustrating? It's funny, in my final thoughts video on it, I was saying how I was very frustrated in the beginning, and then I worked my way through it, and I ended up adoring the game. And I saw so many people saying, oh, you know what? It was easy for me in the beginning. And I saw so many other comments saying, God, yeah, I'm with you, man. It was really tough in the beginning. I was so lost. And so there's so many ways to, get into the game and get through it. Each individual experience will be its own. And that's always been a dream to play a game like that. And Tears of the Kingdom definitely delivers. Okay, this next item is very unusual. And it's from 1999. And I've got to say, I've been getting very nostalgic about 1999. I mean, even last summer, I did an episode with Rob called Our Best Gaming Summer. And that was in the year 1999. I remember that year so well for some reason. I was graduating film school. I was playing, Ridge Racer and Ace Combat. There was a lot of cool stuff going on. So I've been in that headspace lately. And so I decided to type in eBay, Ridge Racer Type 4, one of my favorite racing games of all time. And I saw this item. And here it is. Right here. It's Ridge Racer Type 4 and the Jog-Con. I didn't read that wrong. It's not the Joy-Con. It's the Jog-Con. Joy-Con controller right here. Look at this. Very unusual. It got packed in with the game. It's only Japan only. And it's kind of like a forced feedback kind of controller where you use this kind of wheel, spinning wheel, and you kind of drive your car with that, and it goes back and forth. It's very, and it's got like kind of feedback that kind of works against you. It's a fascinating item, but I was looking on eBay and I was like, John, really? Are we really going to get this? And I'm like, no, because the shipping was so expensive, and I'm like, let it go. But I mean, 1999 and Ridge Racer was really kind of on my mind. And something else happened, which is just so weird. So I walked into Press Start Games, video game store, run by my friend Russell in Vancouver here. And I just walked in, and I'm talking to him, and I didn't have any thoughts about buying anything. I know the store very, very well. But the store kind of surprises me. I walk over to a shelf, and I'm just talking to him, and he's dealing with a customer, and I'm just kind of looking, and I look up, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And it was like, I was searching in the morning, and this is just sitting, tucked up, behind another box. I could just see half of this, and I'm like, and I just go, oh my God. And he's like, what? I said, I can't believe you got Ridge Racer Type 4 with the Joy-Con. I said, I was looking at this on eBay, and I have some store credits. And so, yeah, I was able to pick this up for a really good price. And I was like, oh my God. So this is something, like, people ask you why you collect things, why I personally collect things. This genuinely makes me happy. And I'm one of these people, I put it on the shelf, I come in and I look at it, and it genuinely makes me happy. Because it makes me remember that time, 1999, and Ridge Racer, and all the fun I was having. And something crazy with me? That feeling doesn't go away. It's not as though I just get used to seeing an object over there, and I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. I personally really enjoy it, and I enjoy the memory of it, and what it is representing that time in gaming, and that's already 24 years ago. Crazy. So Edis Hetcho, this very, very cool item for sure. Okay, we're going to go into a little story time that I have never kind of discussed on the show in 15 years, which doesn't make any sense. I will show you the item that's going to trigger this conversation, and that's Suikoden right here. This is the vinyl for it, and this just arrived, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And just look at the artwork there on the back. Very awesome, very awesome. I've got to tell the story of me and this game, and where it kind of starts. It's the very first PlayStation game that I ever bought for the PlayStation 1, ever. And so back in 1996, I bought my PlayStation here, used. I couldn't even afford a new PlayStation at the time, so I bought this. I think it was like $140 or something like that. It was used. I was taking a bit of a gamble, but I was able to afford this, and Suikoden, I call it Suikoden back then. And so I bought that as an RPG, and I was like, oh my God, that's like, it was the start of a brand new time that I didn't even realize. And so I got my PlayStation, and I put this game in, RPG, and I just marveled at it, and I just marveled at the music, and I just love the fast combat, the graphics, how you can just jump in, and all that, collecting all the characters. The storyline was strangely emotional, and really had an impact on me. And I absolutely adore the game, and it was the beginning of the PlayStation 1 for me. It is, and so the music for this game, very, very special, very, very haunting. Isn't it so strange how some music is like haunting of a different time that is long past? And that is what this soundtrack is for me, and I can't wait to listen to it in the other room. It'll just take me back to when I was like 22 years old. And I got my PlayStation, then I got Street Fighter Alpha 2, and the rest is history for me and all that. But that's why I pick up a lot of items that I do. Some of them really take me back to the past. But then the fascinating thing with me is that I don't live in the past, but I like to kind of go and dabble in there, remember a little bit, and then come back to the present and play Tears of the Kingdom. That is for sure, but had to pick this up. So just wanted to tell the story of it being one of my first PlayStation 1 games and the first RPG I got on the system. Okay, this next game arrived, and I got so excited about it. I was like, oh my God, because everybody's talking about it. So many people are sending me messages about it, and I'm like, I've got no time to play this, especially with Tears of the Kingdom. I was like, and I promise you, I will come back later this year, I don't know what time, and I will talk about this game. I'll make the time for it. Right now, we're just, after Street Fighter 6, we got Final Fantasy 16 coming out. I'm going to be a busy guy, very busy guy. But Trinity Trigger right here. Beautiful box, by the way. When this arrived, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. And a lot of people are saying it's kind of like Secret of Mana. I can't say anything about that. I just know that it's got a lot of high praise from a lot of people, and I've been very, very fascinated about playing it. So I can really say at this point, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm really, really fascinated about it. From the graphics that I've seen and all that, I'm like, this is great. What a time we live in. Where is the time for all these amazing games? I mean, when I was in my teens and early 20s, I mean, we were waiting for RPGs. We were starved for them. We were always waiting for them to come out. Not now, not 2023. It's like, here's everything, and take it. So what do you guys think of Trinity Trigger? Let me know in the comment section down below. Very fascinated to try this out. And another one, I know, Fairy Fencer F, Refrain Chord, right here. What do you guys think of this one? This was a bit of a blind one for me, and I'm kind of fascinated about it because it's one of those things that I know we're going to get past all the big games. All the big games, we're going to get through them, and there's going to become a time where it's a big lull. You know, because everything's coming out now, but there will be a big lull where we can sit and kind of decompress and get to some of that backlog. And this, Fairy Fencer F, Refrain Chord, looks kind of interesting. Kind of a strategy style of game. Kind of like the graphics and all of that. I haven't played the other ones, and that's why this one is kind of fascinating to me. What do you guys think of this? Is this a good buy or a bad buy? Let me know down below. I can't believe it. We're nearly at the end, but I will stretch it out with a couple more cool items here. The first one is from Bitmap Bureau right here. They sent this to me, so I'm just going to say that. They sent this to me right out. I didn't even expect anything. I didn't ask for it or anything like that. This just showed up, and it's Xeno Crisis for the Nintendo 64. It's funny with this game. This game, when I originally played it, I played it on Game Pass for the first time, and I was like, this is such a Neo Geo game, and they ported it to the Neo Geo as well, which I think is really, really fun. And they've done another port to the N64. I have not played this myself. I don't know, I don't have my N64 hooked up with any high definition upgrades or anything like that, so I have no idea how this is going to play or anything like this, but it's really fascinating that they're still making games for like the Sega Genesis, the N64, even the Dreamcast. So I want to say a big thank you for sending this over. I will get to this eventually, that is for sure, but really interesting to see Xeno Crisis on the N64. And this showed up, of course, I was going to pick this one up. Neo Geo Pocket Color Selection Volume 2. I got the first volume. This is more games from the Neo Geo Pocket Color. A system that I played, and back in the old days, I wanted every single game. And the funny thing about the Neo Geo Pocket, when it came out, it was in such limited release that it was very, very hard to track down. I would walk into a store and you'd see maybe the Neo Geo Pocket Color if you were lucky, and a game or two, but that was it. I remember some of the other games you'd never be able to find it. Great selection of games here, and it's nice to have all of those games this way. And I wish I lived in a time where the Neo Geo Pocket and the Neo Geo in general became massive sellers, and that never happened. But I really wish that it really took off for them, because I gotta say this, they had a lot of heart and they put it all into the Neo Geo Pocket Color. They did, with the variety of games and everything. They had fighting games on there, they had strategy games, sports games. They really were coming in, firing on all cylinders, and it just never worked out. And it's a stuff of legend now. For a lot of us older people, we remember that time in Neo Geo's history, and to get a small tear thinking about it. So I was very happy to pick this up. Okay, I've saved the best for last. The best for last. And I ordered this, oh my God, it must be about 7-8 months ago. And there's sometimes, you get a little sweats. You're like, is that item showing up? I better check my email to see if this is coming or not. And it eventually showed up, not dented, no problems with it, because I am always worried, because this stuff ships from Germany. and I get kind of concerned. It is, oh my God, look at this. The anniversary Wonder Boy collection right here. And yes, it's a collection for the anniversary collection. I've got to say, I got it loaded on my PS5, and I'm not joking with you. At least once a week, I'm going through and I'm playing all my big games, and I just want to have a little bit of a downtime. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to that in a second. I will always put on Wonder Boy, in Monsterland is one of my personal favorites, and they did the collection so right. All of the games are there presented in their, the original FM sound or without, like for the Master System stuff. Really happy to get this huge collection. Am I going to open this? No. This is for my personal collection because I do collect for Wonder Boy, and I'm going to say something crazy. I think I got probably one of the bigger Wonder Boy collections out there. I think so, because I've just been a fan since I was a kid, and I just bought the games as it came out and all of that. And I even, the ones that I don't like in the Wonder Boy series, I still collect those as well to show my support because I love this series. And it's always been one of those things that's been so charming to me over the years. I love the kind of the sword and sorcery stuff of the, Wonder Boy Monsterland and how that kind of, continued on. And I love the creature designs. They're so cutesy, like the Monster World stuff is so cutesy, and I adore it, and I really just wanted to show this one here. Are any of you guys Wonder Boy fans? Let me know. Let's a big cheer for Wonder Boy, because it's still continuing on all these years later, and I'm a mega fan till I leave this world. I'm a mega fan, and I'd like to get all my collection together to see where we're at now. I think I did a collection years ago. I'd like to see where it's at now, because there's been a few more games over the years. So guys, there we go. That is the new Game Stuff episode. I was really happy to come in here and share some things that I personally picked up, share some stories. What have you guys picked up in the way of new game stuff, new video games, new merch? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.